What is going on, everybody? And welcome to a brand new edition of Dinger Dudes. And we have three of the sexiest men here, me, Andrew, and Steven. And then we got Jackson over here too. But especially you,
Bro,
Steven.
get this, bro. Don't you dare hit that stupid pose, bro. Get out. Get out.
Hey,
Kick him off.
Jackson.
hey
Jackson, bro.
guys, Chase, since
They
you
probably clicked off the episode already, Jackson. Come on.
Chase,
Oh
since
my
you
gosh,
brought
he
that
doesn't have
up,
his fake tooth in.
yeah, that's what I was gonna say. Since you brought that up,
Whoa!
do you still
Whoa!
consider that sexy?
Whoa!
Do you
I
still
mean,
consider that sexy?
yeah, I'd say so. I don't know if
Yeah,
that's weird.
I
I don't
haven't
know if that's
cleaned
weird to
my,
say.
I haven't cleaned my tooth out yet, so
Just
I,
tell
I
me what
didn't.
happened to the other guy.
That's what I'm saying,
Oh,
dude. Like, I mean, God, y'all feel bad for me without missing a teeth. I mean, this dude's
For
almost
y'all
dead.
who don't know the story, Andrew passed out at work, face first on the ground, tooth popped out. Or tooth went.
Not, not exactly what happened, but pretty
After
close.
saving a 5-year-old from getting run over in the
Yeah,
parking lot.
Yes,
Why
yes,
do
yes.
why do you think I fainted? Because
that's right.
I had to jump into the fire to save that 5-year-old girl and I got overheated. Like
That's
sue
yeah.
me,
Hey,
That's where the heat
anyway,
exhaustion came from.
like sue me for
anyways,
wanting to
that
save a child, Jackson.
hey, speaking of fires, fires are hot. So we're gonna start with some MLB hot takes.
Wow, what a
And we have
Transition, baby.
two MLB hot takes sent in from viewers today. So shout out to the first one, Mr. Jason Barker from Wolf Sports Network, who we
I
know
know
and
that
love.
guy.
The Padres win the NL West. Steven, starting with you.
The who win the Padres win the NL West?
Padres. Yes.
Mm.
Man. If you're talking about 2 weeks ago, I would have said no chance, just because the
Hmm.
Dodgers lineup was just what it was. The pitching rotation is what it was. But man, they are dealing with a lot of injuries. This Dodgers rotation, man, like Evan Phillips is out. You know, I'm trying to think of other pitchers right now. They
Blake.
got so many that
Blake
I'm just
Snell.
trying to,
Brian,
because there was a stat that said the other day that like the Dodgers IL right now has a payroll bigger than like four MLB teams, which is
that's
wild.
stupid.
That is
That's so
ridiculous.
stupid, bro.
But here's also another thing I got to keep in mind though is that the rotation's still going to be fine. Like Glass now. That's what I'm thinking of. Glasnow's out. Glasnow's out for the rest of the year. Um, but you have Otani that's going to come back. You still have Yamamoto. Roki Sasaki just hasn't found it yet this year. I don't know if he's going to find it, if he's just having such a tough trouble time, getting a claim, acclimated to major, the majors and everything. But it's looking more and more like that the Padres to take this division, but also at the same time, I mean, the Padres are such a hot and cold team. They're like,
Yeah.
at one point they could be, the best hitting team in baseball, but then, they have stretches
Right.
to where, they just had one, just a week ago to where they lost what, 5, 6 in a row.
Seven in a row, I
Um,
think.
so I mean, do I think the Padres can be consistent enough to, build up enough wins and win that division? I don't think so, man. I think this is the Dodgers division to lose.
And I completely agree. I mean, it is a tight race right now. I mean, you don't even have just the Padres to work around. You got to keep an eye on the Giants. I think the Giants are turning a lot of heads, especially the way that starting rotation is looking right now. And that's a team that I think I could see also competing with the Dodgers to win the NL West. But I mean, like as Steven said, injuries I think it shouldn't be as big a concern as people think for the Dodgers, just because of how loaded they are. And I mean, they got the lineup, the batting order that can just sustain a injured or a handicapped pitching rotation for them to get healthy enough and then get the support they need. So it's not like a typical baseball team like the Braves, for example, where having such an injured rotation is a big deal. The Dodgers aren't seeing this as that big of a problem. The Padres, like Steven said, though they are, I mean, they're sitting at 9 games above 500 because they're playing some great ball right now. But I mean, like Steven said, star of the year, they looked really good. Then they hit a losing stride. Then they picked it back up, 7 game losing streak. Now they're picking it up again. I think if you want to win a division against a team like the Dodgers and how stacked they are, you can't be inconsistent. You just wait for this Dodgers rotation to get healthy. Wait for the players that are slacking a little bit to figure it out. I mean, Tommy Edman has been such a huge addition for them. He had a great night tonight against the Yankees. Wait for them to pick up slack, and then inconsistency is going to you're going to drown. You'll drown the NOS. Because I mean, like Steven loves to say, you don't see a team's true identity to June and July.
Yep.
Summer is where you really find out what a team's going to be for the rest of the year. I think the Dodgers, I think in a month or two, are going to they could very well run away with the NOS.
Yeah, the NL West is a really tough division to predict right now, and I do like the Padres team. I will start off by saying that Fernando Tatis, I'd argue that he's on pace right now to have the best season he's had since that ridiculous leadoff season that he had, where he was just unstoppable at the leadoff position.
You mean
But
when
I
he was
think
looking at the catcher signs? Yeah, I remember that.
well, aside from all the side, quests that he was going on with, the PEDs and then all that, yeah, I mean, sure. You can throw that into the mix if you want. But I'm just saying, aside from all that, I think this is a really good version of Tatis that we're getting this year. And I do like Jackson Merrill, the way that he stepped up. He's having a really good sophomore season. And he's got
Absolutely.
great supporting cast around him. Like Manny Machado has really stepped up lately. Gavin Sheets is a guy that I've really kept my eye on this year. I knew it. Hit the first home run of the season for the Padres against the Braves, and from that moment forward, he's continued to pick up momentum. Pitching staff is a little bit questionable. I mean, Nick Pivetta has had some solid outings. Dylan Cease is getting a little bit better, but all in all, and I think we might get into this conversation a little more down the road in this episode, but Dylan Cease is a guy that I could very well see in the Padres shipping him off during the trade deadline, because we're seeing such a downward spiral in his progression right now, and he's still going to be hot on the market because of the resume that he has with him. So I think it's going to be interesting to see how they deal with Dylan Cease. But like you said, Chase and Steven, the Dodgers are just way too deep in that bullpen, flooded with injuries right now. But as the summer progresses, I think we're going to see them adapt to that a little more. And I mean, we saw what they did to the Yankees, just absolutely terrorized the Yankees this weekend, and that's a really good bullpen in and of itself that you have to get through. So too many good hitters, too many good bullpen pieces, and I think the Padres will definitely keep it a close race, but the Dodgers will ultimately take it.
Now, not saying this team's going to win the National League West, but Chase pointed out a team that I am also really high on, the San Francisco Giants. There's a guy on that pitching rotation who has been lights out since coming back from injury last year, Robbie Ray.
Yeah.
Robbie Ray has looked fantastic. He's looked like the ace for that San Francisco Giants rotation. A lot of people thought it was going to be maybe like Logan Webb, or maybe a Hayden Bird song would skyrocket up into that 1, 2, 3 spot. But that Giants batting lineup has looked fantastic. But we got to look at this Padres and the Dodgers. I think they're going to be the top two in the National League West. We had the conversation last episode that the Dodgers were going to win the World Series or win their division. I still think that they're going to end up with the best record in the National League. The Padres,
Sure.
Jackson Merrill is only getting better from here. He had a cold streak for a little bit since coming back from injury, but who doesn't? Luis Arias looking like the same contact on base kind of guy that we've seen consistently. And Manny Machado, I believe we're going to get into fantasy baseball later on in this episode, but Manny Machado has been a star for me right now, and he's a big reason why I took down Jackson Schrader, our resident Marlins fan, by like a huge margin. But sticking on the topic of playoffs and playoff teams, we're going to go to our second and final hot take from Random Baseball Player 1.4. Three American League Central teams in the playoffs again this season, starting with Steven.
Okay, so let me go ahead and like look at the AL Central. So that would be the Guardians, the
Royal,
Twins.
Tigers,
Royals,
Royals,
Twins,
West
Royals,
Tigers.
White Sox.
Tigers, and White Sox.
Yep.
Okay, because I'm oh my gosh. Um, I guess that could be a thing. Listen, the Royals are always just that great of a team. Bobby Wood Jr. has been having an incredible season. The Tigers, I mean, what a shocking. That's been one of my biggest shocks, this season. I knew the Tigers were going to be good, but they've been playing like one of the best teams in the league. I mean, Javier Baez is having a resurgent season.
Oh my gosh.
Tyreek Skubal is, in the running again to be a Cy Young candidate for a second year in a row. The Tigers team, just, the great rotation and the great offense, just carries that team. So, I mean, it's just been unbelievable, to watch them be the team that they are. So, I mean, I don't rule it out as a possibility, but that AL, side of things is just so like stacked with great teams. Seattle, I mean, that they're going to be a front running team. The Guardians, the Twins,
Mhm.
So and listen, I know the Astros are where they are right now, but don't sleep on the Astros, man. The Astros are going to make a postseason run as
I
well.
agree.
So I just don't think that they're going to be. I think it's just it's more likely to see something like a 2-2-2, so like two teams from each division make it. That's just kind of where I'm looking at things right now because I mean, dude, the Yankees and another team from that division is going to end up making it as well. Like the Yankees, Red Sox can make a swing for things as well, and the Rays, they're not out of it yet. So I mean, it just I don't see three teams from the Central making it this year.
Um, it's interesting, Stephen. You absolutely said. I think because the AL is definitely more. I'd say
Widespread.
widespread than the National League. But I mean, which is why I do agree with Steven that I don't think we see three teams from that division making the playoffs this year. But I mean, it's such an interesting race. I mean, like you said, Steven, the Tigers have really turned some heads. They made that, I guess you could call it an out of nowhere postseason run last year, and people had the question whether or not they could maintain that momentum heading into this year, or if it was just kind of like they were just riding a high. But they proved nothing but other than that they're legit, and it starts with the starting rotation with Scooble, who could have back-to-back Cy Young years. It's probably going to be Max Fried for the Yankees, in my opinion, but it could very well be Scooble. But then you got to look at the bats. Javier Baez, like I said, first this year. Hunter Green, I think he has 18 games this year with extra base hits, and I think that leads the American League, if I'm not mistaken.
Torkelson has been a pretty nice addition to that outfield too.
Absolutely.
Steven, he's talking about Riley Green.
Oh, I said Hunter
I
Green.
heard
I
Hunter
said
Green,
Hunter
and I
Green.
was like, I'm
Sorry.
sorry.
I did say Hunter Green. I did say Hunter Green. I'm sorry. I meant Riley
Man,
Green.
he's really he's a another Otani, bro. He's killing it. And
Silver
in the
Slugger for
AL
a
too,
starting
when he got
Sorry.
position.
traded to the Tigers.
Sorry, thanks for catching me on that. It's confused why you're looking at me like that. I was like, did I say something wrong? But I think but it's not the Tigers I want to talk about. I think it's the Minnesota Twins. And I think after their mediocre start to the year, actually, it wasn't even mediocre. They had a really bad start to the year. But ever since they hit that massive, what was it, an 11-game winning streak? They have
12.
been
Or
12-game winning
13
streak.
actually. I'm sorry, it was 13.
And I mean, they've shown no signs of slowing down. I think Carlos Correa has kind of been the workhorse behind
Yeah.
that big winning streak. Then you have Brian Buxton. I know he's been in and out of injuries. He got injured right at the end of that winning streak. I mean, Byron Buxton during that whole winning streak, was just unbelievable. I believe he was, if I'm not mistaken, the American League Player of the Week twice during that big winning streak. But then the star rotation, Joe Ryan's continued to be solid. Bailey O'Bear's continued to be solid. I think it's just, what are you looking at that for?
But Pablo Lopez and Bailey O'Bear has not been playing that great lately. And the Twins are
Lopez?
the Pablo Lopez for the Twins.
I never said anything about Pablo Lopez. I
was
said
just
Joe Ryan
I
and Bailey O'Bear.
I was
Joe
just throwing
Ryan's
that
been
out there.
fantastic. He's on my fantasy team. Joe
I
Ryan's
know.
been fantastic.
I didn't say anything about him. I said Pablo Lopez, he was supposed to be the ace of that team, and Bailey O'Bear have not been playing that great as of late. And you said the Twins have not shown any signs of slowing down, but I disagree. They've only won 4 games in their last 10. I think they were just riding a high, and I think we're going to see them mellow out. They're not making the playoffs.
They're third in the division. They're right behind the Guardians.
Congratulations.
If you want to talk about inconsistency, they've been more consistent than the Royals.
Who cares about the Royals? I didn't say the Royals were made the playoffs.
It's
I'll
a
tell you what.
4-team race right now. What do you mean who cares about the Royals?
But we're not talking about the division. We're talking about playoffs. And
I know. We're talking about will 3 teams make out of the playoffs. I already said I don't think. I know. I already said that. Now I'm debating who's going to come out of that division because I'm not that confident it's going to be the Tigers. I think it's going to be a close race the whole way.
You're not confident it's going to be the Tigers?
It's a close race. It's a 4-team race right now. Are you out of your mind?
I'm not out of my mind. I think the Tigers are going to run away with the Central right now.
Absolutely not.
And the Guardians will
It's going to maintain a 4-team race all the way to the end of the season. Mark my words.
No, but the Guardians are going to easily take a grasp of that second place, and then you got to worry about the Twins and the Royals. Look, you got to worry about the Twins and the Royals.
The Twins and the Guardians have had the same season, buddy.
Listen, you're gonna find the Twins and the Royals fighting for that last wild card slot, but then that's gonna be up to grabs for the. If we're gonna talk about a division in the American League that's more likely to have more than 2 teams, I think the AL East is more likely to have that whole.
That wasn't the argument.
I know. I'm just saying because the Rays are right there behind the Blue Jays. Blue Jays are playing some unexpectedly really good ball. The Rays have won 7 of the last 10 games. The Red Sox, though they're in the slump, we know they had the lineup to find a stride in the summer and make a push for that wild card spot. And then look, then you got the Mariners, like we said, and the Astros and the AL West. And then I'm looking at the Rangers to find a stride midsummer because I think their lineup is too good. And Nathan Eovaldi is having too good of a season. And shoot, even Jacob DeGrom has had a no, not Jacob DeGrom.
You're talking about everything but the hot take, by the way.
I'm shooting the hot take down because there's no way with the other teams fighting for that wild card spot in the American League that you're going to have either the Twins or the Royals fight for that spot because out of all the other
That's a glitchy for you.
remaining teams. Out of all the remaining teams in the other divisions in the American League, I think the Twins and the Royals are at the bottom of that group. So no, the answer is no.
I didn't expect this to get that seeded.
Yeah, me
Hold
neither.
on, hold on.
Oh, that's not where I thought this was going. Hey, can I get one more? Let me go ahead and say one more hot take because I feel like this is actually
wait.
take a lot of people off.
Opinion on this American League
why am I Stacey Jefferson? My name is.
I genuinely think that there will be 3 American League Central teams when Cole Reagans gets back. I believe that he is going to take the Royals to the promised land. I'm looking at this MLB standings right now. I believe that the Tigers are going to win their division. The Yankees are going to win their division. I don't think the Blue Jays, Rays, or Red Sox, and I had the Red Sox making the World Series, are going to resurge or going to have enough resurgence unless they fire Alex Cora. I want Alex Cora gone. He is taking down that Red Sox team consistently after game after game after game. And that Red Sox team is just not looking like the World Series contender I thought they were going to be. I think the Mariners win their division. Ooh, that.
Jackson, I have a preposition for you. You talking about the Red Sox getting rid of their manager? Why not they go after his brother? Why not they replace him with his brother, who was the baseball manager for Northeastern's college team, who made it to the regionals on a 28-game winning streak? I'm just saying.
I think they just who's the guy Ramon Vasquez when Cora was at his daughter's graduation. The Red Sox had no morale trouble, had no clubhouse issues. Team chemistry was up when Ramon Vasquez was in that managerial spot, and Bregman's out for who knows how long. I'm looking at. I don't know. I think it's going to be a close spot for the 6 and 5 seeds for the American League. I just don't know, but I believe in the Royals.
I do want to make a quick comment about Corey's brother. Let's not pretend that Northeastern was in the most whack division, and then when they made it to the regionals, they got absolutely clapped. Let's not pretend that didn't happen.
I'm just giving him a little shout out, okay? Hey, I was just giving him a shout out, okay? He deserves it.
But yeah, I'm just gonna do one more hot take just because I think it's gonna be fun to talk about, and you know what? Why not? It's a hot take for a reason, and I truly believe that this could happen. I think by the end of the year, Cal Riley is going to build up a good enough resume that he is going to win AL MVP over Judge.
Wow.
He did hit home run number 23 today.
Oh, wow. Okay. I mean,
I don't know.
What's Aaron Judge's home run total? Do y'all know?
He's at 20. I think he's at 19 or 20.
Okay,
but,
so
dude, the thing that's
Riley's
about Judge is
ahead.
so wild. He has a high home run. He's at 18, but the man's at he's got a 380-something average right now?
Yeah. I think
he's hitting out of his mind.
I think that's what 100%. Sets him apart right now.
Cal Riley's not going to be a high average guy, but Cal Riley he's going to break a record for catching. He's got the most home runs before the month of June, as a catcher in baseball history.
Okay.
He's been going out of his mind. Okay, and I think that if, Judge has a cold streak coming into the second half of the season and Cal Riley remains on this pace, he could take it over.
I was just going to say really quick, Steven, I love that take. And as much as I'd like to side with you, when has Judge, besides towards a little bit of the end of last season, had a cold streak? Cal Riley's fantastic. He's the best catcher in baseball. By miles this season. And he's been doing fantastic. And I think he will set a home run record. But for AL MVP, I don't know. I don't know.
If Aaron Judge was not in the American League, Steven, I would absolutely agree with you.
Hmm.
Look, to your credit, though, I mean, he's got 45 RBIs to go with it. He's batting at 264, which is a solid number to have when you're hitting that many home runs. But yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, then you're going to have to side by side compare that with Aaron Judge's. Aaron Judge is going to have probably a 50 home run season. And if he maintains that 300 average with 50 home runs and 100 plus RBIs, there's no shot Cal Riley wins it over him. But
Well,
Yeah.
that's
I
the
mean,
thing is like, what if you put it side by side? Let's say, because you listen, Aaron Judge is human. That I feel like the average can level out to like if he ends the season with 310, 50 home runs and 100 RBIs. What if Cal Riley sets on the pace and he hits, I don't know, 59 home runs with 110, 112 RBIs, and the Aaron Judge's average is going to be better. But what if Cal Riley sits at like a 270 something?
Hmm.
That's a closer race than I think a lot of
okay.
people are going to give it credit for. Um, Listen, do I think that that's going to happen? I mean, it's a possibility. I would love it because Cal Riley's just been unbelievable, and I'm a little biased because he is on my fantasy team. But at the end of the day,
Sure.
like, dude, Cal Riley has been unbelievable this year, and I just wanted to show him some love.
Hey, and I respect that because he doesn't get talked about enough. So you know
And you
what,
know what?
Steven? I respect that.
I'm a little biased too because I've mentioned it before. He's a good old Florida State boy.
He is. He is. And you can even see right now I'm wearing my Florida State jersey. So I do love the Cal Riley talk a lot.
Yeah.
So, and I will say, I mean, not saying this guy's on the level of Cal Riley, but if we're talking about fancy catchers, Carson Kelly for the Chicago Cubs. Shout out to you, buddy. Shout out to you, man. He's been doing some beautiful, and he's got 272 average out there with, I mean, the RBI total is nowhere near Cal Riley's, but I mean,
We
he's
talking
getting on
about
base consistently, and I like that from a catcher.
we talking about fantasy now? Is this
Uh,
our
Get
official
fantasy
transition?
going.
This our
Uh,
official transition?
I guess it is. So, how do y'all like fantasy teams heading into what? This is going to be week 11 of the season so far?
All right,
Week
who wants to
10.
start it off?
We're
Because
going into week 10.
I I would just love to say that we talked about him earlier, and he sent in a hot take, and we love him. We love him here, and I love Mr. Barker as well. I got the win over Mr. Barker, and let me tell
Hmm.
you, that is a tough team to get a win over. Barker's
Thank
team
you
is
so
not a
much,
team to
Stephen, by
sleep
the way.
on.
So now I'm in the lead in my division.
Um, he's got a great team, man. He's got Freddie Freeman, Will Smith, Guerrero Jr., Trey Turner, but guess what, man? I have two MVP candidates on this lineup, and Shohei Ohtani and Cal Riley, who have just been unbelievable this year. And guess what? After his first 2 weeks of just being absolutely horrible, Rafael Devers is now one of the best hitters in baseball. He has turned it
Right.
around significantly, and he has been an unbelievable asset to have on my team. And the pitching stepped up, man. Luis Castillo had another great outing today at 17 points. James Taillon he pitched 6.1 innings, got the win at 97 pitches. Only gave up two earned runs. I mean, and then yesterday, Michael Wacha flirted with a no hitter. He flirted with a no hitter all the way until like the seventh inning. He pitched 6.1 innings pitched and had a no hit going all the way, and then he gave up a single. But I mean, he got me 25 points yesterday. So right now the team's playing great. They had a great week this week. The losses that I've had this season, it's like the Braves, like they haven't been by much. Where it's just really been close matchups. We're on the plus side when it comes to runs scored over runs allowed. And I'm back at 500, which is fantastic because I think I'm going to take the second place position over Aiden. But when you're in a division with Gavin Ellis, who is his team's just right
Hey,
now parting ways with everybody else's team in the league right now. I
Steven,
don't
by
think
the
first place is
way,
going to be there
hold on.
Um,
anytime soon.
Let me
I
stop
do
Steven
I do
real
want to
quick.
point
All
out I
right,
do want to point out
I know,
why is time out Gavin? Why is time out Gavin? I am the only one who's second down Gavin. That's all I wanted to say.
okay, and I
Well,
got
Philip's going to.
Oh, is
Philip's going
he?
to get the win.
I got to
Oh, look
pump
at
you in your
Philip.
brakes, Steven. I got to pump you in your brakes. I did not do you. I did you a disservice. You're not going to be taking Aiden's spot because Aiden is running away with our matchup right now. So he's going to remain in second in your division. And I just want to formally apologize for taking that opportunity away from you.
Well, it's tough when you have, Kevin Gossman didn't do you any favors today at 5 points.
Exactly.
Um,
I'm so glad you pointed that out, Steven. So glad. Because I noticed that too. Wow. I
yeah,
mean,
but
hey,
yeah, I
look,
mean,
look. 8 hits given up through not even 5 innings. He had 7 strikeouts, but 3 earned runs. Yeah, that's just not going to cut the cake for you. Not to mention
No.
that Ronald Acuna gave me -2 points. I mean, the whole Braves offense was non-existent aside from Azuna's home run today. And then, I mean, one of my earlier additions that I made not too long ago, Abreu from the Red Sox gave me -3 today. So really, I think the biggest problem with my team is I'm only seeing consistency from a handful of players, and that is Kelly for the Cubs, Pete Alonso for the Mets, who has been unbelievable. He's been in a little bit of a slump lately, but he's still batting at 288 with 12 home runs. Jacob Wilson. Last time we talked fantasy baseball, I raved about Jacob Wilson because I think he is in the argument for the best shortstop in the MLB this year. He's batting a 357, and he's maintained that through almost a month and a half now. 357 average, and he's creeping up to 10 home runs. And I mean, he's gotten me 6, 3, 10, 1. That's just his last 4 games. And I mean, Jacob Wilson, that was just a guy that I drafted in like the third to last round out of nowhere, and he's paid off really nice. And then, of course, Kyle Schwarber, probably the best designated hitter in baseball this year. Mookie Betts and Alex Bregman being down on the IL right
Does
now.
Ohtani not exist?
Oh, sorry.
Hey, buddy,
I'm
come
sorry.
on. Come on.
Okay. Let me back it up. I forgot about
This is
I'm
gonna
about
go
to
on
say,
Dinger
buddy,
Dudes.
there's a guy on my team that's sitting there like,
It's gonna
he's
go
going to
on
be an
Dinger Dudes
MVP
later.
again this year.
Okay,
Schwarber's
I
the best
forgot about the
hitter.
fortune cookie. I'm sorry. But Kyle Schwarber, though,
Whoa,
close second.
that's crazy.
Hey, fortune cookies are good, okay? And so's Otani. But yeah, Alex
Wrong
Bregman and
country.
Mookie Betts being on being on the IL has really done me a disservice. And my whole pitching rotation sucks. I have been drawing players in and out of the waiver wires for the last 2 weeks trying to find a good, stable rotation, and I'm almost freaking broke because I keep having to ship off these pitchers that look like they're going to start riding a high, and then as soon as I grab them off the waiver wires, they give me negative
And
points, and I'm lost. I'm at a loss right
so
now. Dylan Cease, I don't know why I've hung on to Dylan Cease this long.
I
so
would
out
love
of
it if
love,
you dropped him so I could put a bid on him. That'd be great.
yeah.
You know what, Steven? The
So
time is nearing. The time is nearing.
So
So
I'd
get ready.
love to cuz Andrew, I'm in your division in our fantasy baseball league here. And I
Yep.
want to shout out some Arizona Diamondback boys who have looked fantastic for me. Josh Naylor, who is now my first baseman, my starting first baseman for my team since I drafted him. Right now, he's ranked the first best first baseman in fantasy baseball, a 297 average, 7 homers, 37 RBIs. And then the best fantasy shortstop in baseball, Geraldo Perdomo. If we're talking first time All Stars, this guy's going to be it. Six
Okay.
homers, 41 RBIs, and a 283 average, 176 fantasy points so far for me. And TJ Friedel from the Cincinnati Reds. I picked him off of waivers too, just like Perdomo, and 4 homers, 20 RBIs. Doesn't sound too flashy, but a 300 batting average, ranked sixth among outfielders right now in fantasy baseball. And my pitching rotation. Chase was so mad because we were live on Dinger Dudes when we were doing the fantasy baseball draft. Outside of last game he played, Max Fried, man. Max Fried has looked
Oh,
fantastic for my fantasy baseball team. Right now is the fifth best ranked pitcher in fantasy baseball. And to be honest, I don't think he'd have this much of a production of a year if Garrett Cole wasn't injured. I think Garrett Cole would be the number one guy for the Yankees if he wasn't injured.
yeah.
By the way, shout out Stevens, Cy Young preseason picks, Blake Snell and Garrett Cole. I feel like Steven jinxed him. But in DeGrom, I took a high risk on DeGrom.
I
DeGrom,
didn't. Hey, look, my hitters are doing fine. Okay,
yeah.
Otani's doing great. Jordan
Mhm.
Alvarez ain't winning AL MVP, but whatever.
Yeah. But DeGrom,
Yeah.
I want to shout out old man DeGrom because right now a 5.2 record, 2.34 ERA, 66 strikeouts. Dude's looking like prime DeGrom. I
Oh,
think
okay. So it
he's
was
great.
Jacob DeGrom that I was talking about
Yeah,
earlier.
yeah, Jacob DeGrom's looked fantastic. Tyler Mahle, Ranger Suarez since coming off the IL. Like I like my rotation. I like my team.
Well,
There's some holes I need to fill, but
here's a
Hey,
here's the thing about my team. Very mediocre, extremely mediocre.
yeah,
And the problem is,
super mediocre.
This was a problem I faced last year. Right now, I'm sitting 4-5. I'm about to be 4-6. I'm really just like the Atlanta Braves. However, look. Last season was like 2021 Atlanta Braves for me. Halfway through the year, I was the definition of mediocre. And look, this is kind of what I picture for my season. So I'm in a division with me, Brendan, Christian, and Drake. Drake. I don't know why I said Michael. He has it late. Drake Miller. Sorry, Michael. He's running away with the division. Me, Brandon, and Christian's pretty bad. Me and Brandon are the battle of the mid. But Brandon run me out this week, and here's my problem. My starting rotation has been very solid. I mean, Spencer Schrolenbach, I picked him. I drafted him because I was really high on him this year, as any Braves fan was. Luzardo for the Phillies.
Go back to Stromba. Read me his last two performances because he's had 11 strikeouts and no walks and two straight performances.
19 points and 27 points. But 27 points the other day because he gave up no runs. He gave up 2 runs in that game against San Diego. But Luzardo, for huge accusation for the Phillies, he's been, in my opinion, arguably the best guy in that rotation. Joe Ryan, like I mentioned for the Twins, very consistent season. Joe Ryan's a pitcher. You always know what you're going to get from him. Just super consistent. And then I had AJ Smith-Salver, who was dealing for me. I picked him off the waivers when he started to pick up speed. Now we know he's out for the year. So I replaced him with Grant Holmes, which he's been pretty solid. I mean, he's not producing like AJ Smith was, of course. Reese Olson is a guy I also lost to the IL. We didn't even mention him. I mean, I know he's been injured for a little bit now, but outside of his last performance for his injury, he had 3 really, really good performances. So I have no complaints about my starting rotation. My problem is at the bats. Now, I think I've done great when it comes to the waiver wire because there's a couple guys I picked up that I think has been huge pieces for me, and that's starting with Yavi Baez. I don't think people are paying attention when Baez is having this major resurgence here, but I was, and I picked him up, and he's maintained me a 273 average, 6 home runs, 29 RBIs. Now, to be fair, he has absolutely crapped the bed for me in this matchup against Brennan. He doesn't have a single positive performance this week, so that's a downside. But I think the biggest guy off of waivers for me was actually Ramos from the Giants. A 295 average, 10 home runs, 29 RBIs. He's had a 30-point week for me, and he's helped me keep this close matchup against Brendan. Ellie De La Cruz, he has been very up and down, but when he's up, he is up. And like today, going 2 for 3, he had 3 stolen bases, 2 RBIs. I think he had a triple today as well. Of course, I have Aaron Judge. Aaron Judge is going to run away with the MVP. Kyron Paris, he was a guy that was playing unbelievable baseball.
I'm so glad
at the start of the year. Jackson was begging for me to trade him Kyron Paris, and looking back at it, I wish I did because he has been quite awful. And matter of fact, I've officially made the decision that this is going to be his last week for me, and I'm officially going to put Gavin Lux in his position because Lux has been sitting on my bench for some reason because I keep trying to have faith in Kyron Paris, and Lux is actually playing really good baseball, so he's officially won that position. Michael Bush was a huge pickup for me because I forgot, who did I have before him? Christian Walker. I drafted Christian Rock for the Astros, and he's been absolutely abysmal for the Astros this year. So Michael Bush has been not the best. He's been kind of a middle road first baseman, but he had a really big week for me this week. So it's just inconsistency when it comes to hitting. It has nothing to do with my rotation. But like I said, this happened last year. And what I ended up doing last year was I just rocked with the guys I had and just prayed to God that they picked up pace. And they did at the end of the year. Josh Naylor was my fantasy team MVP last year, speaking of Josh Naylor. So I'm kind of hoping the same. I have a faith in a lot of my guys. I think I'm going to hold out. I'm going to maybe adjust a couple things in the outfield. I need to find a replacement for Kyron Paris because I'm going to put Lux in.
Do you want Christian Yelich?
He just got hurt.
We'll talk. Christian Yelich didn't get hurt, though, but we'll talk. We'll talk. So I do need... I moved...
Shut up, Andrew.
I knew he got hurt.
Hey, you want Lawrence Butler?
No. The moves are coming.
Paris?
I like Gavin Lux. Gavin Lux is better than Butler. Anyways,
No,
so
no.
changes are going to be coming, but for the
What's
most
that?
part,
What's that,
I'm going to
Jackson?
hope my rotation can maintain the
Hold on.
strength and then hope my bats pick it up.
Hey,
Let
look, I
Jackson
mean,
speak his mind. What's
if
that,
you need a
Jackson?
good second
What you guys
baseman,
say?
I got Bryson Stott right here,
I
buddy.
have Terang. I have Bryce Terang, and I'm very satisfied with Terang.
I have Otto Lopez.
Where does Colin? I thought he played. Where do you have him
Outfield.
at?
Kyle Paris plays second base, but he's in my outfield position. But he plays, yeah. So
Yeah.
I mean,
Bryce Terang's in my second base spot right now. Yeah. But
Hey,
I could use a third base because I think
Do
no, I'm not
you
gonna do that. Never
you're
mind.
do you
never
want
getting
Jordan
third base.
Westburg? He's about to come off the IL.
I'm about to say, buddy, I got Devers,
Oh,
number
I
one
just
third
checked.
baseman in fantasy baseball right now.
Does
I just
anybody want Cole?
Should be the number one first baseman, but somebody does want to
Does
give up their
anybody want
spot.
Nick Castellanos?
hey, they sell their differences, okay?
Do you want? The tornado
You
season's
can
coming
keep
up.
him.
Tornado
You
season's coming
can
up.
keep him.
Tornado
Some.
season's crazy.
Nah, I can tell you one person that I am looking to, shop around. Well, a lot. Listen, all my guys. The only guys that are untouchable on my lineup right now are Cal Riley and Shohei Ohtani. So I
Yeah.
mean,
Fair.
market's open.
All right, Chase.
Really, Judge is my really only untouchable.
All right, Chase.
Oh, yeah, I'm sorry. Guys, thank you so much for tuning in. There is a very special guest coming in next week. So stay tuned to our socials. Stay tuned to the channel so you can see a beautiful episode and our beautiful faces and Jackson next week. So thank you for tuning in. And let's just pray to God the Braves find an answer.